A few days ago, I called the fake news the enemy of the people, and they are. They are the enemy of the people. Because they have no sources, they just make them up when there are none. No. John Roberts, go ahead. CNN's fake news. I don't take questions. I don't take questions from CNN. CNN is fake news. I don't take questions from CNN. John Roberts of Fox. Let's go to a real. Let's go to a real network. John, let's go.
Well, we're a real network. Donald Trump was able to build an army of zombie by closing them off to their access to information. They willingly submitted themselves to this by continuously only watching news outlets that enabled their white supremacy viewpoints. This is why a person who controls the circumference of your information dictates the radius of your knowledge.
Now to new developments this morning on the ongoing lawsuit against Fox News over the 2020 election and comments made by the company's owner, Rupert Murdoch, who has admitted that some of his network's hosts knowingly endorsed false claims that the election was stolen.
Unsealed court documents reveal the billionaire media mogul made the comments in a deposition as part of a $1.6 billion defamation lawsuit by Dominion Voting Systems against Fox News.
NBC News
Are like headlights on a semi-truck to a deer in the middle of a freeway when it comes to white people. Whenever confronted with facts, they will do whatever somersaults necessary to avoid the truth of confronting white privilege. They will do whatever to stay ignorant about the conditions that really exist. And black people have been placed in the same condition through the education system. Trump supporters is just a magnification of how intense it can be when you allow somebody to prescribe the circumference of your knowledge and dictate the radius of information you will receive.
What about what happened on January 6th? What do you think what happened there?
I don't really know what happened on January 6th.
January 6th,
The election day?
No, election day was back in November.
I don't even know what.
Do you know about January 6th?
No.
So when I say January 6th, that means just...
Nothing. I don't know.
That's just a day to you?
Yeah.
Did you hear about the insurrection attempt at the Capitol?
No.
For almost everyone here, insurrectioning was a non-issue. It was the hearings themselves that were the problem.
I think it's an...
How you doing? My name is Antonio. My page is Unapologetically Black ADOS. On YouTube, I ask that you like and subscribe to the page and share the videos and share this message. Today, what I want to discuss with you is I need my people to understand it's imperative for you to seek information and knowledge at all costs, independent of anyone. He who provides the circumference of your information will decide and dictate the radius of your knowledge. And I'm going to show you this through a magnifying glass through Trump supporters.
Abomination.
It's just McCarthyism. It's a witch trial.
It's a witch hunt.
It is.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like a mob of people coming together with pitchforks.
Yeah.
Saying, and we can't have that.
Yeah, with an agenda. Here's the narrative we're pushing, and that's all we're pushing is our narrative.
A mob of people with an agenda, pushing an agenda.
Yes.
That can't stand in America.
No.
We should have an investigation about a mob of people. And that's
We
something
should.
everybody would watch that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, Nancy Pelosi, she is very responsible for what went on then. She planned it.
She planned what happened?
I believe so.
Why did she plan to get attacked by a mob of Trump supporters?
Because she wanted to be able to blame it on the Trump supporters and have something bad to say about them.
Shouldn't we investigate that?
Yes.
So you must be watching the January 6th committee.
No.
So what was it?
What you're witnessing here is the inability of individuals to think independently for themselves because they have allowed people to close them off to other forms of information. So you've seen a mental deterioration in Trump supporters when trying to use logic in connecting their theories. What you see in the Trump supporters is they're closed off to any information that might be contrary to how they feel. This is what you're witnessing, and is the effect of you allowing someone to dictate when and where you receive your information from, or allowing someone else to tell you not to listen to various forms of media because they're lies. But you would not be able to dictate or differentiate who is lying to you if you close off the means in which you receive information.
And late that same night of December 18th, Trump turned to the other plot pushed by Eastman and Navarro, posting what is a now infamous tweet that announces the January 6th rally, beginning, quote, Peter Navarro releases 36-page report alleging election fraud, more than sufficient to swing victory to Trump. That was the lie Trump needed to build on, and then he summons the people to D.C. for the first time. Quote, big protest in D.C. on January 6th will be wild. Now, that's the first time Trump ever told supporters there was a place to come join this fight. And none of this happened.
If they could think for themselves independently, how can they reconcile the fact that Donald Trump gathered the crowd for January 6th to come to the Capitol? How could they ignore that there would be no crowd without Donald Trump gathering them there? How do you ignore the person who benefits from the activity? Right? So you cannot reconcile that with logic and a belief. So they have to close themselves off to a system that just enables this ignorance. Example of what I was saying, somebody tuned into my page stating, one of them Trump supporters, you should stop watching a lot of CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, and start watching clips of Donald Trump on YouTube. You will know a person's heart when you start doing your research on them. This is what a white Trump supporter contacted me on my YouTube page and said, which you don't even have a right speaking on my page. It's called Unapologetically Black, ADOS. I'm speaking to black people. Shut up, stay in your place sometimes.
I decided to bring the hearing to them. I first shared testimony from Trump's own acting attorney general dismissing Trump's claims of voter fraud.
I told him that the stuff that his people were shoveling out to the public was bullshit.
Like I said, you just can't be up 300,000 votes and then lose.
No, but that's Trump's attorney general. Does that sway you at all?
He's turned on him. He's been paid by somebody to shut his mouth.
Everybody knows the election was fraud.
No, he's saying the opposite. He's
saying the opposite?
Yeah, he's saying there wasn't fraud. That's bullshit.
Wow.
Does it make you kind of change your perspective and your assumptions?
It does.
Yeah. So you're not going to go in there right now?
Oh, yes, sir, I am.
You are going in there right now to see Donald Trump speak?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Well, Good productive chat. What's your response there?
I think it's true.
You think Bill Barr is right?
Yeah.
Because he's talking about the fact that the election was stolen is bullshit.
Yeah, for sure.
So he says it wasn't stolen.
Oh. No. Then no.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
it was stolen.
You don't believe that?
No.
So who do you trust? Like Trump's family?
I trust Trump.
You trust Ivanka?
Yeah, I do. I think she's very smart and very intelligent.
Let me show you. This is what she said.
How did that affect your perspective about the election when Attorney General Barr made that statement?
It affected my perspective. I respect Attorney General Barr. So I accepted what he was saying.
I don't know. That's not edited in any way.
You don't believe she actually said that?
Did she say it on Twitter?
It almost don't even look like her.
You don't think that?
It could not be her. It might be one of those. What, they got clones out there these days?
You think that was a?
It might be a clone. Yeah.
It might be an Ivanka clone.
Yeah.
Hot take, my friend. It's almost like you're confronted with it, and your brain just does somersaults to figure out there must be some other reason.
She looks frightened.
She does look scared, almost like
she does.
she's been
really
caught.
frightened.
What do you think?
I'm confused. A little bit.
So Ivanka,
His daughter.
his daughter, says she accepts what the Attorney General said, which is that the election wasn't stolen, that Trump lost.
Well, is it a lie?
I mean, if you listen to these people, yeah, it's a big lie. And I'm fearful you're going to go inside there and he's going to keep telling you that lie.
We should go.
Yeah.
Let's be clear, this man don't understand the simple process of how election goes. You have what is called mail-in ballots, and then you got the day of voting ballots. So what Republicans understood was that Democrats would do well with the mail-in ballots. So Trump went on a mission to break up the U.S. Postal Service and slow down the mail. And also, states like Pennsylvania had laws passed so that they could not start counting the votes until after a certain time on voting day for the mail-in ballots. This allowed Trump to be ahead, and when the mail-in ballots happened, that's how Trump went down in votes. See, if he had done the basic research, he could have easily contested this theory. But he chose not to, or he's unable to, because Donald Trump created the circumference of his knowledge.
2020, there are a handful of states that can't process mail-in ballots till Election Day, and two of them, Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, are key battleground states.
Some states don't start counting their vote-by-mail ballots until the day after the election. So that means we could be in for a long election count with a lot of vote-by-mail ballots in states that aren't used to them.
Stephanie Liebergen, Newsy, Miami.
Let's be clear, 2020, we were just coming out of the corona pandemic, or we were still in the corona pandemic where people couldn't be next to each other. And therefore, responsible states made mail-in ballots more accessible. However, Republican ran states made mail-in ballots a lot more difficult, because if they open voting for more people, they know that would lead to a greater Democratic turnout versus the Republican turnout. It is clear, it's fact and science that Republicans win in small counties, but when in large cities, they do not win the majority vote. And even when you're talking about presidential, the last president to win the majority vote has been a while. So the Republicans understood that opening up democracy for so many people be able to vote through mail-in would set them back So they went through great length to hinder the vote by denying names from mail-in voting lists, dropping people from registries. They went through a lot of tactics in order to deny the American people democracy. All these things can be looked into. So for someone to deny this or to be closed off to this type of information, you have to understand they have an inability to connect logic with their theory.
When do states start counting mail-in ballots?
Some states, they start determining voter eligibility for those absentee ballots as they're received, as long as 4 weeks before Election Day.
Maryland is a state that normally can't process mail-in ballots till the day after the election. But because of the pandemic, officials were allowed to start processing those ballots on October 1st. California also changed the rules for 2020. The state is automatically mailing ballots to all registered voters, and processing started 29 days before November 3rd.
Those states that have moved to no excuse vote by mail, or certainly all vote by mail, have tended to adopt procedures that allow for more speedy review and counting of absentee votes, precisely to avoid excessive delay.